things got weirder. We said in the last episode that things were already a bit odd and strange with the whole virus, and when we last spoke to you, we mentioned that Italy was in lockdown and that we were probably going to head that way. Well, we're here, we're in lockdown, and so that is why I'm coming to you from my home and Tom is coming to you from his home as well. So, despite all this, we have a fantastic Into the Wild episode for you for April. It is spring, everything's coming to life, nesting, blooming, which is really exciting. We have actually a heck of a lot to share with you, isn't that right, Tom?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like Rosie says, despite the social distancing, we're going to keep coming at you, keeping it safe. So, like Rosie says, we are self-isolating. We can't stress enough how we recommend that people do not leave their homes or their gardens, but it doesn't mean that you can't see anything. So, we've got all sorts coming for you, from the tiny little invertebrates that we've been seeing all the way to one of the UK's largest mammals. We're going to be bringing you daytime footage, but equally as well, because we've had time to play around, we're also going to be bringing you some nocturnal footage as well. There's going to be lots to see. Rosie is obviously the much more technical one of us in the pairing. She's very good at the camera work. However, I've got behind the lens as well, and I've done a little bit of camera work myself. Probably not the same quality that you used to from our Rosie, but we're doing our best under the circumstances. I think one of the most difficult things we've had has been just sharing the files with each other, because obviously Rosie is about 2 miles that way from me. But we have been filming and we have been sharing things, but some of the transfers have been a little bit dodgy, so fingers crossed for some of it. But yeah, absolutely.
Please bear with us, because, like, obviously this is not ideal, not what we'd be normally doing, but we're doing what we can to bring you a little bit of joy and happiness in this very still uncertain time. Again, in your garden, we know that you're isolating at home, and if you're with people, family, whoever you're living with, please just get outside and see what you can see, whether that's in a garden or a yard or a balcony with potting plants, or even if you could just look out of your window, because nature can heal us in a way that other things can't, and especially at this time it's really, really important. But like we said, we're going to bring you all sorts of creatures throughout this episode and next episode. We've got a bit of building in there and what we created to get more out of nature as well. At this time, we can tell you that nature's actually doing really well across the globe, with the lack of emissions and things like that. There's just a lot going on, so that's fantastic, and we're hoping that this is going to be a long-term effect as well on nature, not on lockdown. We've been doing some experimenting as well, so with my camera, with having time, I've done some little setups. I'm not going to go too much into it because you'll see it all going, but we've just been experimenting and basically going to keep us fingers crossed on what we can get.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, Rosie, but having this time in lockdown, spending a lot more time in my garden than I normally would do, I've made loads of really nice discoveries that I didn't know were happening. I've had all sorts of things in my garden that I've never seen before. I've had a couple of warblers, a black cap, and then another, I think it was a garden warbler, which I didn't even know I got in my garden. So just having this extra time is a time when you can really explore your own areas, and I think that's one thing that we can all get out of this as well.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, Tom. We've had some really special things in our garden, which I'm not gonna talk about it because you are gonna see them in the film. But we've had some really exciting stuff coming in our garden, and still gonna continue to come in and grow as the season turns to summer. Hopefully not too long, but we've been enjoying some nice weather, so I think we should get out in our gardens, carry on filming, see what we can get, and you guys can sit back, relax, enjoy what we're getting, and we are looking for some inspiring stories as well, what you're getting in your garden, so keep watching and you'll find out how to do that.
Yeah, stay safe, look after yourselves, don't go outside, like, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy. All right. And,
all right.
I'll see you soon, Ro.
Yeah, see you soon, Tom.
Yeah.
Bye, mate.
Bye.
Bye. So I'm just sat taking notes about everything that we're gonna bring to you in this episode, and I was a bit worried at first, thinking, oh, there's only so much you can do in a garden, and we have to kind of cater this to people with lots of different gardens, or even some people that don't have a garden at all, just have a yard or a balcony. But when I sat down and started noting the things that you can do in any garden, I started to get really excited, because I have a really long list here all down my page of things that we're going to be showing you, from things to do with mini beasts to one of the largest mammals in the UK as well. So without further ado, let's crack on with the first activity. Isolation plans. We're building a pond. So we have we're building a wildlife pond in my garden during this isolation period. So it's me and my dad. Say hi, Dad.
Hi, Rose.
Bit of help from the dog. Here is our plan. Doesn't look like much, but it will all come together. So if you put it this way, we're on a bit of decking. We're going to put the decking here, and the pond's going to be this bit here. So I'll show you a wider shot. This is what it is, and you'll see what it will turn into later. So we've got the base blue protector liner in and ready for the black pond liner to go on. Decking is finished, so now we're just going to paint, and then plants will go in and we'll have a finished pond.
Now I've come up to my driveway where the first of my nest boxes are. I've got 8 nest boxes in my garden. This is the only one this year that is being used, and it's being used by the blue tits. So I've been in this house for about 6 years. This box has been up since then. It's actually one of the last boxes I put up, and I thought I was running out of spaces to put it, but it's been my most successful box every year, so that's really nice. The blue tits, as you can see, are coming in. There's one there with some feathers, so I'm not going to disturb it. But like I say, it gets used every year, so this is really exciting. We can spend time as a family coming out here and watching the blue-tits building their nests. And over the past few years, I've seen a number of fledglings come out of this. Last year, this box was actually used by the tree bees. The tree bees got there first, which meant that we didn't have a nest last year. So we're really excited this year that the blue-tits are using it. So let's go check out some other spaces in the garden, and I will show you what else we've got going on.
Okay guys, so for this section we're going to focus on mini beasts, insects, creepy crawlies, whatever you call them. We're going to hopefully get some shots of these. So what we have here, hopefully you can just see a little bit of it, is a fish tank. Obviously no fish in it now. It's one that we've had for a while now. And to get some use out of it, I thought it'd be a wonderful idea to create a bit of a studio. So I'm in the shed at the minute, and in this tank I have a flower pot. What I am aiming to do is go out in my garden, look for lots of different insects, things that kind of really interesting and what you might not have seen up close. Get a little container, it's all very ethical. I'm going to catch the insect, bob him in my little tank here on the flowers, make sure he's happy and settled and not stressed. If he's stressed, I'm going to let him straight go, but if he's quite content and quite comfortable, I'm going to leave him to do his own little things in the flowers and hopefully get some really nice close-up footage of that for you. The background is black, which is amazing because it means no distraction, and hopefully it's going to bring out all the details in the insect and the colours, because we have some amazingly coloured and patterned detail creatures in our gardens here in the UK. So I'm going to do that, tell you a little bit about them, identify them, what are they good for in your garden, and why you should love them as much as I do, really. Once I've got the shots, I'm going to put them exactly back where I found them and let them carry on with their little lives and look for the next species. So without further ado, let's crack on. Okay, so what I'm filming in here is a comet butterfly. Often confused with the small tortoiseshell butterfly. They're very similar in markings and colour, but the best way to tell the difference between a tortoiseshell and a comet is the raggedy edge on the comet. So I'm just going to show you in my book here the difference and show you which one I am filming. So this one here is the comet, and this is the one that I'm filming currently in the tank. I've just caught him, put him in there, and he's just sat on the bottom, so I'm going to get a few shots and then put him back. So he's who I'm filming. Like I said, you've got those raggedy edges there, and this is what is often mistaken for the very beautiful small tortoiseshell. We get a lot of these in the garden, and they're distributed around the UK. The comet, I'll just read you here, it says, the adult wingspan is between 44 and 48 millimetres, and widespread resident of southern England and Wales, scarce elsewhere. So, actually very lucky to have it here. There are more of them coming about, and they are absolutely beautiful butterflies. When they are closed, as you can see, they are very camouflaged to just look like a leaf. So for any other predator, they probably wouldn't disturb it. So that's what they've kind of evolved to do. And it says in the garden, so that you can keep an eye out, shrubs should not be over-pruned in autumn, so that some thick areas are retained in which the comet may hibernate. Adult butterflies may find their way into sheds and outhouses in autumn and should always be left alone to complete their hibernation. A nettle patch may encourage this species to breed, and nectar-producing plants such as bramble will provide food for adults in summer. So, keep your eyes open for any comet butterflies, and if you see one, you'll be privileged.
I've come further down the garden now. Please excuse the shadow on my face, the sun is facing the wrong way. So I'm at the end of my garden. My garden's about 25 metres long, and just to my left I've got my chicken coop, and then just behind me in the neighbouring garden you'll see the little shed here, and then we've got this tree that has been completely sort of covered on its right hand side by ivy. So that tree's been really interesting. During lockdown, I've spent a lot more time in the garden than I normally would, spending time looking at what's going on and seeing all sorts of different things. That tree is a real haven of wildlife. We've got a long-tailed tit's nest in there, the sparrows keep going in and out, and also I've seen a couple of blackcaps a couple of times going in and out. So that's been really, really interesting. Please excuse the background noise, all sorts going on around here, the neighbours are out. But yeah, and I'm just going to pan over to my left now. Okay, so this area here, I've put these two boxes up this year. Not a lot of activity in either of them. As you can see, one of them is a standard bird's nest, the other one is a teapot. So teapots can be really good ideas for things like goldfinches, but particularly they are really, really good for robins. Robins will use a teapot. They're like an open faced nest, and they're quite gregarious nesters. So my intention is I put it right at the back of the garden, really near some foliage. It's sort of hidden away, and the idea is that the robins will come in and use that maybe next year. So fingers crossed, we'll see what happens.
Now I'm extremely fortunate to have something very special in my garden. Just behind me here, behind this holly bush, there's a large hole in the ground, and that is home to our red fox. Now, you can't see it, and I'm trying not to get too close or raise my voice to distract them. Just behind me, we have, I have my camera trap out, and that's basically recording whatever movement happens back there. So not only have I got fox movement, actually, I have had a little hedgehog on there. We've never had a hedgehog in our garden before, so that's really exciting. But this resident, this fox,
is amazing. We've had this hole for a few years now, and unfortunately it's never been active. But we know that it's active this time, because I reviewed my camera footage yesterday, and after brightening it on Photoshop and Premiere Pro, I have seen the beginnings of life. The tiniest cub, it must only be a few days old, came to the entrance of the den when Mum left, and that has got me very excited for potentially 2 or 3 more cubs in there. I think Mum's doing a fantastic job from what I've seen, and I'm really glad that they've made our home their home too.